Hi guys, and welcome back to this series of videos that I'm making to help people over 40-ish who want to start adventure riding with little or no experience. You have a lot of videos on YouTube already on that, but a lot of them are from very experienced guys who were born on a dirt bike. I thought I'd give my perspective as someone who started at 47 years of age with no riding or at least motorcycle riding experience before that. And choosing an adventure bike is not an easy task because we're all different. We have different body sizes, financial possibilities. We live in different regions where riding possibilities are different, and also bike availability, because not all bikes are available in US, Canada, Europe, Australia, and so on. And of course, we also have different ambitions on what we want to do on the bike. And let's also remember, we have dreamt about this for a long time now, and we are the main targets of the marketing efforts from the big bike brands and so on. They are bombarding us with all these cool videos of what can be done with Paul Tarres and Chris Birch. And we also have group pressure, because you might want to join a group of friends who's already riding and they all have the same type of bike and so on. And you want to fit in there and get the same bike as them. Yeah, so there's a lot to consider. And of course, that makes it impossible for me to pick a bike for you, but I'll help you reason a little bit. So at least we want a kind of adventure bike, which is a broad word, but it means that I will use it to go quite far places, at least a multi-day trip. I want to strap luggage on it, and I also want to be able to go on the rugged roads and sometimes off-road to some degree. So let's look at the different bike categories out there that we can choose from. So on the biking scale, we have on the left side, we have dirt bikes, bikes that are only made to go on dirt and preferably in competition scenarios. Then we have road bikes, 100% asphalt. And in between here, of course, we have a scale where we have off-road mixed with road capabilities. And from the dirt bikes, going a little bit off on to the road, we have the dual sport guys. These are bikes that are in normally 300 to 700. These bikes are single cylinder bikes, looking like enduros mostly. And we have some popular bikes there, the Honda CRF 300. We have the KLX 300 from Kawasaki, not available in Europe, I think. And we also have the bigger dual sports like the KTM 690, the Husqvarna 701, and also the AJP that I have. And going from the road side, we have here the ADV bikes. And this spans quite a lot over this scale here, going from just a little bit, I would say something like this, just a little bit off-road capable till quite a lot off-road capable. So in here we have the big ADV bikes, we have the mid ADV bikes. Let's start with them. These start usually with 1,000 cc's plus, and they are 240 kilos plus, somewhere around there. Really powerful, full of electronics, everything you want. They are made for comfort, cruise control, traction, and electronic suspension and everything. We have the mid-size bikes, and this is where I would say 700 to 900 cc's bikes, and that's of course the T7 that I have, and the KTM 890, Triumph 900, BMW 900, and so on. And a new really nice trend that we see coming a lot is the light ADV bikes. And they are actually from, let's say, 350 up to 500 somewhere. There's a lot of new bikes coming here, a bit more simple and cheaper and just lighter and smaller. And these are the Himalayan 450. We have the CF Moto 450, even though they are quite heavy, but still a very easy bike to use. We have BMW coming with a 350 prototype. We have Aprilia. They're all coming with the light bikes now. For me, I'm ruling out the dirt bikes because they are competition bikes that many do convert to adventure bikes, but they're made to go hard. The engines are at maximum and they have really short maintenance intervals. I don't consider that. Road bikes, of course, is not also anything I have. I don't have use for the big ADV bikes. There's a lot of power, but a lot of money. And what I focus on personally is a bike which is as light as possible, but still covers my needs for long distance travel. And I want a bike that is easily maintained because I have the garage here where I can work on them and I want to learn. When it comes to choosing a bike, I think most people today actually do it from some kind of pressure from the outside. Marketing, influencing. I know I sold a few T7s just from my channel. And my story is the same. In 2017, I watched Long Way Around and they had the BMW GSs. I had two friends who already started riding, planning adventures. They had the 1200 GSs. So of course I got the GS 1200 Adventure. So we started riding those bikes, and having the same bike in the group also gave me some sort of confirmation or belonging, I guess. So I rode the BMW for a year, but I noticed that I want to go off-road. I end up in places where the GS does not belong. At least I would need a lot of friends to just dig it up again. So I needed a lighter bike. And I never had experience with enduros and things like that. The GS was the first off-road motorcycle that I got. And then the T7 came on the market and I was just in love from the pictures. I ordered one before I even could test ride it. And when I got it, everything was great because it was so much lighter and agile and so on. And I've been having fun on that bike for 83,000 kilometers now. And I've gone on very long trips on the T7, and it works great there because on long trips, I want to get places and so on. I don't seek the really tough off-road or anything because of the risk of getting stuck or damaging something and so on. So you keep the off-road a bit lighter, but still going out there on the rough roads, and yeah, it's been great on that. And I've taken the T7 now into some places where it's over my head. And I thought that is pretty much what it's like. It's tough, it's heavy, and you can be exhausted. But then I was invited to my friend Steve, who's a lifelong biker with all these enduros and rally bikes and everything.
Sen är det ju alltid smidigt med liten hoj, för det är inte ofta när man är ute och kör man tänker så att Fan vad gött det hade varit om den hade vägt 100 kilo till.
Nej, precis.
Vad gött det hade varit alltså.
And we went out on the test ride where I got KTM 500, which is just above 100 kilos. And my mind was blown. I never had so much fun off-road. I thought my riding skills just doubled. I could go anywhere, and in places where I've learned that that's not possible to ride there, because I've learned that from riding the 200 plus kilo bike, I just aimed and gave gas, and I was through that stuff like with no effort. So riding the 500 was really an eye-opener on how much weight affects your ability in off-road. And then I test rode a bit of different other bikes, and I ended up with the AJP, which looks pretty much the same, but it's a huge difference. It's 40 kilos lighter, and the weight is down by the foot pegs. And I live in a region where I can't really use pure enduro machine. So yeah, back to that later. I actually cheated a little bit because I had about 3-4 years of mountain biking, downhill and rough terrain and so on. And just on a 12 kilo bike or 15, I learned to move around and when to time things and so on. And that was then quite easily transferred to a larger bike. The only difference was the weight, which shifted the timing of things, but basically the position and basic skills was learned there. So some training on a small two-wheeler is always great to have. And ideally, everyone should have a small dirt bike or a trail bike to play around with. But the usual scenario is that people want to buy one bike because of economy and whatever. And we buy that bike and we want to start riding it and have some fun and training and so on. And I would say to myself, at least back in time, get the lightest bike that you can get, which still meets your requirements for travel, or if you want to ride with a pillion, it needs to be able to do that. That makes this bike a little bigger or something like that. But make sure it's comfortable enough to go the places you want to go, but still as small as possible, because fighting and wrestling with your bike in the fun places like sand and mud and single track and steep loose gravel and so on, I actually ended up in places with the bike on my own, just doubting if this really is for me. This is not fun anymore. I'm not good at this. And on a lighter bike, like the 500, I was amazed. Can I do this? Am I this good? Obviously.
Kände du nu att du ville ha en hoj som väger 100 kilo till?
So there's a huge difference, because before you gain a little experience, you will use a lot of energy just keeping the bike upright when you're going really slow in sand or whatever. Just look at these two bikes. So on the T7 with all the weight up high here, if you're just on the trails and something sort of tilts the bike, when you get here now already, I feel the weight and I have to tiptoe still. And when it comes just this far, it starts to get really heavy, and you're on the ground. And on a lighter bike, totally different story, lower weight and everything. And if it starts coming here, you still have a less effort to keep it upright. So making the perfect video how to choose a bike is impossible. If you have this dream bike, we've dreamt about this for a long time, and now after 40 we get the chance to get it. Maybe it's not the best bike for you, but if it's the dream, it may be a goal itself to just get and ride that bike, go for it. And I'm also a guy who chooses bikes with my heart, I think, my influenced heart. And also when we start riding, we realize which rider type we are. We may not know that when we first start riding bikes. So be prepared to change opinion on stuff like that. And get your first bike with your best effort in the beginning, and then sell it and get something smaller or bigger or more comfortable. And a good example is a YouTube channel, a guy who just got his motorcycle license, got a bike, modified it a little bit, and now he's riding Alaska to New Zealand on that bike, learning as he go. And follow his journey. You don't have to go around the world, but you can see the challenges that he ends up in, and it's a good watch. So that's my view on it as a late starter. Not sure if I made you any smarter from all of this, but there's also a gazillion experts down there in the comments, so you can read some recommendations from there. And if you do get a bike and so on, please write something in the comments and join the discussion. And then I'll just keep on producing some videos on choices and things and skills and whatnot, everything about starting adventure riding after 40. So you have a good day now, and we'll see you in the next one.